Hey folks, this is Wistful Deal here, and this video here, let me be the first to say that this video here, it's gonna be a rant because there's some things I really have to say about Starbreeze and Overkill or whatever, one of the two, and Payday 3 now. I do still plan on, you know, keeping up to date and whatnot, making the last minute such catalyst video and whatnot and everything. Things have been kind of crazy going on lately, but but yeah, back to the main topic at hand here today. I just want to get that out of the way real quick. This is one of the most disappointing things that I think I have ever seen ever in gaming because and let me be the first to say that I love Payday so much. I've played literally hours upon hours in Payday 2. So when I make complaints and rants and vent on any of this stuff that Payday 3 has, know that this is coming from a guy that's really played the shit out of Payday 2, okay? I've played a bit of Payday 1. I call it Payday 1. Payday the highest. I have like 7 hours recorded of it. I have like over 2,000, not 2,000. I have like 1,200 freaking hours in Payday 2 here, okay? I'm practically a veteran in this series here in a sense, you know. I don't know fully everything. I still can't, I don't have the best builds for like the highest difficulty in that game or whatever. But I pretty much know my main workarounds, and I pretty much know what the hell I'm mainly doing 95% of the time, I would say. And it's a game I always love and come back to. So, with the issue with Payday 3, and I'm not getting this game, I haven't bought it yet. I was really convinced to getting it because some of the YouTubers that I like to watch a lot of, they, were giving it praise and stuff, and a couple of other things, there was like this really cool bank event and everything, which I'm jealous of. I wish I could have gone to and whatnot, but anyway, everything seemed to look very damn promising, and I was really close to getting it. But since I've seen from Cyberpunk, speaking of Cyberpunk, when I've looked over at Cyberpunk and heard about the 2.0 update and everything, and how everything's improved and everything's, overall better and everything, I was kind of on the fence on, do I get that DLC that I could get, Phantom Liberty, or do I get Payday 3? And when I saw through how excuse me, when I saw through how the games were, how Cyberpunk, how everything changed and everything for the better and everything, not to forgive at all for what they did before when it first came out, because they literally deceived you, CDPR and everything. I figured, let's go ahead and get Phantom Liberty, because with Payday 3, it's literally night and day. And I wanted to be extra sure on what I was fully getting into. I watched a YouTuber first boot up the game and everything, and the first freaking thing that really set me off was a freaking login shit. You have to make a whole new account and everything, and it does not matter if it's PC, Steam, Epic, whatever the hell it freaking is, Xbox, or PlayStation. It does not matter. You need to make a freaking account for it. And this is just egregious alone as it is. It's bad enough with free games games that are free on Steam where you need to make an account for freaking whatever games or whatever. It sucks with Ubisoft or whatever. It's ridiculous how in some games you need 2 free accounts to play the freaking game. You can't just have that one account or whatever to keep it all under a basket or whatever. No, we need a freaking, whenever you open up a Ubisoft game, Assassin's Creed or some shit, you need to log into Ubisoft Connect or whatever. And I get it to some extent, but it's ridiculous how you can't just sync in with the other datas and stuff. Not even Payday 2 makes you go through that stuff and everything because you already have a Steam account or whatever. But anyway, if that wasn't bad enough, the servers are complete dog shit. Like, the servers are bad and everything, and Sure, I haven't tried it out myself or whatever, but I really don't want to. I do not want to spend $40 on just to make a new account, to freaking fight with the servers, to freaking not have as much content or whatever. And that's fine. I'm fine with not there being much content at first because Payday 2, when that started off, that it was really 10 years of build up with Payday 2 here. There's like freaking 90 heists or some shit with over hundreds of masks and freaking as much guns in that game as there is in Borderlands now or some crap. You know, it's slowly built up to where it is today. And the main issue that grinds my gears with Payday 3 and with Starbreeze, Overkill, whatever, I'm at a worrisome with them now because this is like the third or fourth game now that's been sinking in, taking in. And Payday of all shit too, the own freaking biggest IP that they've been doing and stuff. They made Overkill. They did the Walking Dead game a while back. You folks remember that? And probably not. But they made The Walking Dead, and that game was a complete flop. That was a complete utter disaster. Completely sent to the inferno and whatnot. It's not even like on Steam anymore. Then there was Raid World War II or some shit, whatever. World War II Raid, whatever. It's that game I played a while back before as well when it like first came out, the demo, whatever the hell it was. And now it's just pretty much just a reskin of Payday 2, literally. Literally, just Payday 2, just set in the 1940s, World War II time, getting Nazi stuff, whatever. It was like a shitty Wolfenstein game or whatever. But let's sprinkle Payday 2 mechanics and shit, just slap it on there, not as much content, whatever, barely any content, and there you go, Raid World War II in a nutshell for you folks. That was pretty much Raid World War II, and the thing that's just shaking my head time and time again is that it's just overall such a huge disappointment with Payday 3 because I was extremely looking forward to it because I'm a freaking sucker for bank heist robbery stuff. You know, I'm a freaking sucker for the heist movies and stuff and everything. I freaking love that shit. Well, it shows four guys, whatever, right? They have a plan or some shit to do something. You throw on the mask, you freaking run in there. One takes care of the civilians and workers, whatever, ties them or whatever. The other freaking knocks out the security guard or security camera person, whatever the hell it is. And the other breaks into the vault or whatever, all in a hurry, hurry, go, go, go. Let's get into the freaking van. Let's go, 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 go. You know, kind of shit. I freaking love that. And the biggest grind I have with Payday 2 now is that it's unrealistic and ungrounded in some sense. That's one thing that I did pick up on immediately. And it's not like it has to be like Rainbow Six Siege or any of that stuff. But there's like a huge vibe difference, like theme difference in a sense. And I'm not saying that as like a bad thing or anything, but with how off the walls batshit Payday 2 has gotten, with the freaking you break into the Ark of the Covenant or some shit, or some secret underground base, whatever, where you fight off the freaking demons or some shit, you know, like it's off the walls, crazy, batshit insane, but at the end of the day, it's overall fun. I have like a fuzz on my hat or something, but like it's overall fun, you know, and enjoyable. And even though with Payday 2, not Payday 2, with the first Payday, sure there wasn't as much content or whatever, it's felt a little bit more grounded in a sense, and a bit more realism in some sense, you know, because I don't know, to me it just felt a bit more grounded, but it was still a lot of fun. And I love, as much as silly Payday 2 can get, Payday 2 is a shit ton of fun. It's a game I can always go back to, it's a game I can always have fun with, and even if everything goes to shit, I can still play it in some sense really because it has an offline mode. I can play with the bots, even though the bots aren't really that great, they never would to begin with. And even though the enemy AI, the police with all the units and everything, they're kind of not the greatest evil in some sense. And it's not like it's realistic, but it's still fun with all the different, cop units, special units, the freaking, there's just a shit ton of variety. And it just overall disappoints me again. And I really don't care at this point if they fix the game, they fix the servers, they freaking pad out all of this other mess that's going on with Payday 3 in 6 months' time or a year or whatever, and the game's good now, it's actually back on its feet now and everything's good and everything. I really just don't care or give a shit too much about that because it should have been fixed to begin with later on. You folks should have listened to the fan base, and I get it in a sense because you want to help expand, you want to give everyone a fair shake. That's one thing I did like with the idea of cross platform, was to, and that's one thing they did. I don't know if that's because of the server issues or whatnot, but it's pretty much so that everyone gets the same shake because in Payday 2, the console version, it's literally night and day. If you don't have a PC for Payday 2, all of the freaking 70, 80 freaking DLCs, however the hell the freaking menus, like all this other shit, you can't get that with the console version, depressingly enough. So I could see the point on adding crossplay. But the thing is with crossplay is that it's still relatively new. It's like, yeah, it's cool and amazing when it works, but it's not like anything really mainstream, I don't think, at least as of yet. It's still like relatively new, and it's like a 50-50 coin toss with that. There's very few games, like there's For Honor, which is cross-platform now, which is cool, and like one other game I think that's like cross-platform. Yeah, Destiny 2, that's also cross-platform, and I think that's like it for all I know. But those are billion-dollar companies, whatever. I'm not too sure. But yeah, they made some changes. They made it online only, which is just disappointing. You can't even play offline even if you wanted to. And you're forced to, not only are you forced to make a new account with all this other shit, you're forced to be online at all times. Even if you're playing solo, it still has to look for a match. It wasn't like that with Payday 2 or whatever. You can just pop right in, okay, there you go, private, okay, whatever. But no, there's none of this other stuff that they have in Payday 2, and that's fine to an extent if they want to build that up later. But overall, they should have delayed the game. You folks should have listened more to the fan base, and you folks should have need to take into reason, and you really need to think fast on your feet on how to actually think again and to not, like literally what Dallas says, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. You guys are literally fucking up here because you're paying for, you're giving customers a product that they pay for, and it's fine if the game doesn't work within a day or two, that's fine or whatever. But for how bad things have gotten, and through how ironic things have been and everything, with not even just that, but with performance and everything, it's just so egregious. And I know you folks don't want to stick with Payday 2 forever, but we're not going to hold on to Payday 2 forever. As much as fun as that game is, and as much as I love that game as much as everyone else, it's just egregious how you folks didn't deliver. And it just seems to me throughout time and time again that you guys are just really sinking in. And some of us have paid freaking 90 or something dollars here. I spent like, okay, this keyboard here, I'm going to show you folks real quick. This, I don't know if you folks can see it well. It's wired now. But like this keyboard here that I got was like freaking $80 or whatever. And yes, it is, Cross-Sell, however you pronounce that business. And yeah, it's a bit more expensive but I like their company, I like their brand and everything. This keyboard's not really that different at all from my last one. It's literally just a wired version of the same one. But that's just an idea here. I spent like $80 on this freaking keyboard here, okay? Some of us are going up to like 90 in that shit with Payday free here. And all it is just as an expected thing for the live service shit that will come later, which is just ironic and ridiculous. You're better off spending the original standard $40, just to get the base game and whatnot. And some of us spent like took a day off or whatever from work or whatever, some time just to play the game. And sure, you could say, oh, but everyone has an internet connection now. It's like a common theme. Even if everyone can play online and even if everyone has an internet connection, doesn't mean they want to. You shouldn't be forced to play a game. Regardless, even if it's single player, you should never be forced to play something. You never should have online to have to play a game, okay, folks? Not everyone wants to connect with everyone. Not everyone wants to join with friends or strangers or whatever just to play a game. Some of us, like me a lot of the time, want to go solo. Some of us wants to get a feel of the game at first. Or hell, some of us prefer to go solo because we know what we're doing and we don't want someone to screw something up, especially when we're in a heist or whatever. I've had numerous times in Payday 2, ironically enough, and I'm not saying this as like a horrible thing or to point fingers or anything, but I've had numerous times where I would try and be doing a stealth or whatever, and just some crappy rookie or whatever would spawn in fully armored proof and shit, a freaking machine gun, and as soon as he would pop right in, freaking everyone's alerted. Oh shit, the cops are coming. Everyone's alerted. We all freaking know there's something going on here. So now we have to freaking reset the heist, redo the shit all over again. I smacked my hat. But like we have to redo the whole thing all over again just because some rookie just spawned in. And yeah, it can be frustrating at times. Sometimes folks aren't the greatest with communication. The thing that I would do whenever someone would join in my heist and I would be doing stealth, I would just quickly spam the shh, just real quick, the S and a bunch of H's, and just, god damn it, I accidentally hit the freaking stop button there by freaking mistake, Jesus. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I didn't mean to do that, but my point is that I would just quickly just put in in the chat just to kind of quickly give them an idea that this is stealth, this is quiet. We're gonna use our inside voice. We're gonna be ninjas here, okay, guys? We're not gonna freaking. We need Spencers. We need freaking Hitman level here, okay? Just be freaking quiet and do not wake up the police, okay? That kind of thing. And I would do that as a method real quick because I know there's some folks, as soon as they join in, they just spawn right in and they won't even look over what's what or whatever, or even listen to the music for like the quick bit, because if things are quiet and you join in a server or lobby, whatever, the music's kind of mellow and calm, whatever, so that can be used as a definite indicator or whatnot. But yeah, overall, at the end of the day, folks, what I'm really trying to say is that I love Starbreeze and I do appreciate the vision that they're doing. But so far with what they've been going with, so far with what they've been doing, it's not working. And they're only going to sink faster. And it's totally on them. And like I said before, I don't care if they fix the game Payday free 6 months from now and it's actually refined and good and everything, because it does not forgive the state that it's in today. You folks should have made a Twitter post or something. You folks should have made something to delay the game. You should have actually, like those ways of communication. But there's a difference between communication and being deceived. That's what CDPR literally did. And sure, even though I know this is off topic, but even though Cyberpunk, it's good now, it's great now, everything's kind of fixed now, everything's be revived and everything. Goody, 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 good. That's really good. 3 years down the road for Cyberpunk, that's really good. That's amazing. But why couldn't we have that shit to begin with when you folks said so? Hell, why couldn't they just say beforehand, we're gonna need a couple years down the road? Even though, yeah, it would have pissed off many folks, I could have cared less. Because at the end of the day, I just miss the old days, well, back in like the Xbox era or whatever. You would have the CD, you pop it in, it's good to go. None of this other crazy shit that happens now, none of this buggy state that most games come out now. And it's just time and time again, I get less excited for games now because of how all of this stuff that goes on. And I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that you guys learn your freaking lesson, Starbreeze, Overkill, you devs, whatever. I'm really freaking hoping you guys learn your lesson after this, and you folks actually, actually help get things working again and everything. I know you guys are trying. I know you guys want to help expand and everything, but this is not how to do it. The first thing you folks should always do is listen to your freaking fan base. That's the first thing you should do. Many of us said no to the always online only thing because online only freaking sucks. Like games like Diablo 4, you have to be online to play. And I'm sure there's like a bunch of other games too. I can't even think at the top of my head. But my point is that the fact that you always have to be online sucks. And just because you have an internet connection and you can get to the internet, like most of us, and just because we could do it, oh sure, we could play online, we could join servers, we could join a squad, just because you can do that stuff doesn't mean everyone wants to. Some of us don't mind being offline. Some of us don't mind being, solo. And there should be nothing wrong with that whatsoever at all. But the fact that there's like this new model thing now, well, you always have to be connected, you have to have an internet connection, just deceives me overall. And at the end of the day, what I want you folks to take away from this video here is not only vote for your wallets, but also take into consideration and look at the feedback that everyone says, because most people, like on Steam, whatever, will be honest. Most folks, that's one thing I do love about looking at reviews and looking at the Steam page on games or whatnot, is to look over at the steady base of reviews, and most of it is mostly negative, rightfully so, and I think most of it's the server issues, but it's overall some of the gameplay as well. The units don't pop in so much like they used to in Payday 2, so you can't really spot exactly the difference. I feel like Payday 3 is the same thing that Black for Blood was, in a sense, with how Left 4 Dead 2 was like Payday 2, but with cops. Well, that's more like Payday the Heist, but you get what I mean. It's pretty much that same premise thing, but instead of instead of freaking zombies you're running away from, it's the freaking police of itself, and it comes through waves and different scenarios and shit and everything. But I feel like overall, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just disappointed in you guys for releasing the game that it is, and I was really this close to getting it, but my subconscious say no. Let's wait. Let's wait. Let's see what the reviews are. Let's see what the game actually is, because I don't want to throw away my money, and I'm tired of getting games that are broken now but actually work 2-3 years down the road. I hate that, because yeah, sure, it will get fixed later. That does not excuse now. That does not excuse today. That should never excuse the state that it's in. I don't care how many times a chef can say, if I go into a pizzeria or something, and if they walk out and say, we are so very sorry, even if it was at the worst things where they come into me and say, we are so very sorry we can't deliver you a pizza today, or oven freaking broke down, whatever, but we can give you a refund and sometime later this week or tomorrow or some shit, come back later and we'll give it to you right from free. That's how a business model should be. That's how it should be. Not from they give you the pizza, it's undercooked, there's no sauce or some shit, they didn't bake, with something's wrong with it, and you have to come to them. They don't come over and say, oh, sorry, we da da da, whatever, even though that would be worse. But the fact that you have to come to them, you have to walk over to them and say, hey, my pizza's shitty. It does, you know what I mean? It just, it's egregious to me through time and time again. That's what gaming has turned into as a whole. And it's partially why I don't get excited for new games anymore. It's partially why I have a hard time getting excited. It's why I'm so skeptical of getting new games and stuff. It's partially why I don't really like trying new things, because I don't know if I'll like it or not. But anyway, I'm just rambling on again. I know I've rambled on for like another freaking 8.5 minutes. But anyway, my biggest takeaway from this, folks, is vote with your wallet, and it's a key lesson to always take a step back and to always wait for later and see what happens. Because if I bought Payday 3, I would have been furious. With the whole gotta make a whole new account, this regardless wherever you are. PlayStation, Xbox, Epic Games, whatever. Speaking of Epic Games, remember when Payday 2 tried to cross over with Steam and Epic Games? Remember how much of a disaster that turned out being for the servers? Trying to mush it together and make it like some crossover thing, whatever, or something, and how that was a failure and how they took that away. Yeah, and the black market deal, whatever thing too in that game as well. Yeah, that as well. Um, but the biggest difference is that Payday 3, from the looks of it and from what I've seen and observed and everything with the gameplay, it looks more like a Payday 1.5 than an actual Payday 3. It just feels like a remastered version of Payday the Heist. I'm not saying that because of the UI or anything, but it just feels that way with with the content. And I love the new, I like the new things they add. I love how they've actually put a shit ton more into the stealth, so that it's not like a imbalanced thing of it just being better off doing the loud, even though despite how the freaking difficulty may be or whatever, you know. I really do like that, but what I overall cannot appreciate is how bad the servers are, how they didn't listen to their fan base, how there's no offline mode, how you need to make a new account with it all. It just overall puts a super sour, bitter taste in my mouth. And again, this is coming from a freaking guy, a gamer, who's played Payday for freaking since the beginning at this point. I've have like over freaking, like I said, I have like over 1,300 hours into this game here. And I don't play it as much now because I played so freaking much of it. I have like, I played so much of it, but it's a game I can always come back to and think fondly of time and time again, because it's one of the games I can have the most fun in. And it's just one of those games that I love for what it is now, because of the shit ton of variety and everything. It feels like there's something for everybody in Payday 2. And even if Payday 3 gets to that point later on down the road, that's great, that's amazing. I'm really happy for that overall. But it just should never excuse today. Like I said, I miss the days where a game would actually deliver on what it said before. And it just sucks how this is the state the game's turned into now. Gaming has turned into where you go in and you're expecting at the back of your mind it's gonna be a little buggy now. You know what I mean? When that was not the case before, and I don't know what it is with these devs and releasing broken ass games. I don't know what it is, but it's been like this way for a couple years now, and I don't think anything's gonna change anytime soon. But overall, I know I'm just ranting on and rambling on or whatever. But like I said before, I'm just sorely disappointed. I'm sorely disappointed in how everything's turned out and everything, and it's such an embarrassment here. And I'm gonna vote with my wallet and say no. I will not get Payday free. And I may get it later on down the road when it's actually, I guess, good, or when there's actual, a lot more content and everything. But there was such a huge step going through. I know this is a huge step up from Payday 2 to Payday 3, but so far it's such a massive step down. It's such a sinking hole, because this isn't the first time a game has flopped like this. We still got Raid World War II, which was just a reskin of Payday 2, but World War II, and we got freaking The Walking Dead, which also flopped, and a game or two over as well, or whatever. It's just it just puts a bitter taste in my mouth. And if you folks really want the good golden age thing with your fan base and with your community, like with Payday 2 or whatever, not only do you folks need to work on communicating more, but you should have actually delayed the game. You should have, beta tested or whatever. You know, you folks don't make anyone make a whole new account just to play the damn game. Don't force anyone to do online only stuff or whatever. It's just such a disappointment to me. And a Payday of all things too, because Payday is one of my favorite freaking franchises ever, but I'm getting over myself. I know I said that a million times before. But yeah, at the very end of the day, folks, vote with your wallet, vote with your money, and let this just be a lesson to you folks just how important it is to be skeptical of things and to always look over reviews and everything. Because, like I said, I was this freaking close to getting it, but we're seeing everything going on, not just with the reviews, but with everything as a whole. I felt like I've made a graceful decision to skip. But with all of that being said and everything, folks, I hope you all enjoyed this video here. I know I just ranted to you guys for like 30 minutes or whatever, 40, however many it's been. But yeah, overall, at the end of the day, this is just an importance to always be skeptical and to always be critical of what things are. Don't get over. It's the same thing with what Cyberpunk 2077 did. Don't get overhyped. Just wait for the finished product and then decide later. Don't buy into what others say. Don't buy it. Even if you're close to someone, don't buy into what your family says. Don't buy into what your friends say. Your spouse, whatever. Only judge it for yourself when you see it yourself. And with the way gaming has been turning into now, I cannot say that more than ever. Only judge something at face value when you see it yourself. Not when other YouTubers say it, even if you really appreciate them. Not when your friends say it, not when family says it, not when spouse says it, not when your pets say it, or whoever the hell it may or may not be. Only judge something for yourself and yourself alone to determine if it's really worth getting it or waiting. And at the moment, I'm going to be waiting for Payday 3. If even that. I might just go back to Payday 2 and stick with Payday 2 because, yeah, it's really both night and day with the whole gaming as a whole. But, yeah, anyway, at the end of the day, folks, I hope you all enjoyed it. Not really enjoyed it, but thank you all for listening and everything. And speaking of CDPR and Cyberpunk 2077 and everything, I plan on making a video on that game. Even though I've never really recorded a video on that for you guys and everything, I only made like a rant video in a sense, like years back or whatever when it first came out. But anyway, I feel much more happy with my money spent, and yeah, it may be fishy with what that company did before. They said mainly to avoid spoilers by doing the whole restriction thing again, excuse me, of not showing gameplay or whatever. But you know what? They've upped their game, and I'm glad they didn't abandon. I'm glad they didn't abandon the game and they actually worked on fixing it or whatever. But that should never be for today. That should never be for how it was back then. The same goes with anyone. The same goes exactly the same for Payday 3. You know, so I'm gonna wait till it's actually good, or something happens or whatever, if it falls or whatever. You know, I'm just gonna sit and wait because I am not gonna be spending the money that I work hard towards, that I put into savings for my life for later, or when I need something, or in case of an emergency or whatever. I'm not gonna touch that for a broken product that they couldn't deliver, or even if everyone says it's good or whatever. I I'm gonna see it for myself, and sure, it may work perfectly fine for me or whatever, but I'm not gonna take that risk. I just can't. So overall, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe for more, and I'll see you folks sooner or later. Oh, and also, real quick, I do plan on making, again, I know I keep saying it, but I do plan on making the Last Mirror's Edge Catalyst video and some other content down the road as well. Things have just been hectic and kind of crazy lately going on personally, so that's why everything's kind of delayed. So, but it will happen eventually down the road. So, with all of that being said and all of my ranting out of the way, like 40 freaking minutes of this. So, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe for more. And I'll see you folks sooner or later. Bye bye, everyone.